This week, I want to talk to you about nepotism in the industry and what that means versus coming in with no money, no connections. And it's all around a couple of articles that were sent to me. One of them was sent on Facebook. One, actually, my husband sent to me about Sweeney. The other one was about Gweneth Paltrow. Now, I'm going to put the links to these articles below so you can read for yourselves. This isn't about me interpreting the articles, though. This is about the bigger issue that they're talking about. So Gweneth Paltrow, apparently, he thinks it's very hard to be the child of someone, have nepotism on your side, and prove yourself in the industry. Now, everybody has a right to how they feel, and she may very well feel that she's constantly having to prove herself, but it's a little bit out of touch. And I feel for actors out there trying to break in, and it's true for filmmakers too. I mean, this applies to anybody in the arts. If you're not connected, it's really hard to just get the opportunity, let alone get to prove how great you are. But there seems to be this huge disconnect, and this kind of all goes back to film festivals and things I talk about with that. So hang on a second, just gonna back up and set up what Sweeney spoke about. She spoke about coming to Hollywood and living in a hotel room, one room in a motel actually, with her family, trying to break into the industry. And it took her a few years to do it. She did manage to do it. She does very well in the industry, but is upset that she doesn't make as much money as the people who have nepotism, right? So I get it. I understand. Again, everybody has a right to complain about their situation, but I want to just take give an op-ed of my own opinion of all this, because I think it's kind of gross all the way around. Now, why? First of all, yes, Sweeney paints a very clear picture of being poor, trying to break into the industry, and how hard that is. I agree with her, and I think it's very valid to put that out there and how hard it is. But now she owns a $3 million home. She's a working actor, and she's complaining. Now, on her point of view, she thinks, well, look, I can't make money like people used to, like the series Friends, I think she referred to. If they did that series, they're set for life. They have millions and millions of dollars coming in, but she has to keep working to pay her bills. Well, so does everyone else, actually, unless you're ultra rich. So it's a little bit like, I don't know. I think that people get into this industry and get in this celebrity world and they forget how hard it is for the everyday person, and certainly for actors who start out a little later. It's easier to break into the industry when you're younger. It really is. My sister knew someone who broke into the industry when they were in high school. She was friends with him. I'm not going to mention the person because he has nothing to do with this. But he said, if I don't break in by the time I'm 20, it's going to be impossible. Like, I have to get in the door now. People who come in as children, it's just a bigger door is open, right? But once you get older, it becomes harder and harder. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm not saying you can't work, but the odds are against you. So when somebody who's in their mid-20s is complaining that they only have a $3 million home and I want to keep paying my bills, well, certainly she has a right to want to maintain her standard of living that she has now. But it's a little harsh and not thinking of all the people that she's speaking to who were where she was 10 years ago when she was a teen living in the motel room. Now, you look at someone like Gweneth Paltrow, she's complaining because it's so hard for those of us who just got to walk in the door because we knew people, right? It's so hard because nobody really believes we're talented and we're constantly having to prove ourselves. Well, I got to tell you something. Everybody's constantly having to prove themselves. At least you have the opportunity to do it. I find this very offensive to all artists, and I'm actually a fan of Gweneth Paltrow's work. I mean, not like a huge follow her around fan, but I think she's good, she's fine, whatever, right? It's not against her as an artist, okay? I don't know what she thinks she has to prove. She won an Academy Award. I don't get this whole how hard it is. It's not hard. It was handed to you. So accept that. And don't do this, because then what you're saying to people who are really struggling, who are in their 20s or 30s or 40s, still going at it, still trying to get in the door, you're basically saying, oh, it's easier for you. Yes, you can barely make your rent. You're wondering if you're going to have dinner tonight, but it's hard for me. This is the problem with this country overall. It's like there's this elite class that doesn't really understand what it's like to not be in that elite class. And that's what disturbs me a little bit about Sydney Sweeney's article. On one hand, she says, I know I'm doing well and I don't mean to sound ... But she does, right? And it's like, I get it in your private life saying to your friends, God, I hope I can keep my $3 million home. I worked so hard to get here. I don't want to lose what I've gotten. That's cool. But when you publicly make a statement like that, knowing the world is going to read it, like, do you think about who's out there? That article should have been, hey, I worked really hard. I know how hard it is to go from a lower middle class family and work my way into the industry, and I am grateful. That would have been a better article. That would have been a better thing to say, and cheering other people on who are out there struggling. Whereas, going in there and complaining that you're worried you can't keep your $3 million home. Yes, of course, you have the right to worry about that and talk to your other wealthy friends about, but you're rubbing it in somebody's face. It's like if somebody earned $200,000 at their corporate job and we're complaining to someone that they don't know if they can afford their $1 million apartment to the person who can't afford their $800 rent. Like, you have to think about your audience and the people that you want to follow you and watch you. You have a responsibility to them. I get that you can't make what Jennifer Aniston made on Friends. I understand that. Boo-hoo. Most people don't make that much money. And it bothers me so much. I'm sure you can tell I'm really annoyed by this because you are role models, right? You're out there saying, God, I have my $3 million home and it's hard. Oh, God, my parents got me in the door and now I have to work and prove myself to people who are looking up at you. Like, why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? And then you're surprised that there's backlash at you, right? You think about how much people are suffering. Most people in this country are living poor or below the poverty line. They can't even think about being an artist. All right, they have to just think about feeding themselves and their kids and working 3 jobs. So, we are artists. We're supposed to be caring about people. We're supposed to be there trying to help people, doing films with social issues in them, making people laugh when the world is so crappy. That's what you're there for. Not to lord over them. So anyway, that's my rant. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.